Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between CargoPros and Argos Zenix here on Scrap Station. This is part of patch 1.2, so I do not have any of the nifty tool features just quite yet. I am looking to try to get some more high-level replays for you guys with the new latest patch, but it will take a little bit of time. CargoPros spawning as the blue Terran player at the 12 o'clock position. Meanwhile, we have Argos Zenix spawning here at the as the 3 o'clock position as the red Zerg. So this is Zerg versus Terran here on Scrap Station. An Overlord already making its way out across the map, as every good Overlord should be doing in order to do some scouting. Supply depot now being built. It looks like the SCV will rally and go straight to scouting after building that supply depot. Now, because of this naturally wider ramp here on Scrap Station, most players generally want to try to wall it off as quickly as possible, especially against Zerg, as Zerg are able to do a lot of run-bys. Now, Zerglings and Banelings are able to destroy the front door pretty easily, but I haven't seen Argos Zenix use a lot of Banelings in recent history, so we'll see if he tries to go for Banelings or if he's going to change up his strategy a little bit further. A barracks now being built over here instead of back at his main base, so it looks like a proxy barracks here at this semi-choke point, or I guess what I'll call a far choke. Barracks now being placed down, an SCV already moving out, and this drone going to be coming in, so an SCV having to make the long trek in order to save his little brother on the far side of the map here. And now in comes the drone going to start battling now. Oh no, getting a second barracks as well. So this is not anything that I thought it was going to be. Now you can see that the drone is getting some damage, and now another SCV coming in to perhaps try to fight back against this drone. The drone is trying to battle it out. SCV did for just 1 second pull off for no real reason, and now with a fresh SCV, a Marine can be trained. No, not going to swap it out for the lower hit point SCV as the drone now tries to run away. Argos still opting to go for a fast hatchery, as he's not too concerned about the pressure that these double Marines will be able to generate. The spawning pool is not yet completed, so the drones are going to have to be used in order to try to fight back. And oh, the SC Daisy the drone for the win. 1 health of hip, 1 health natural regeneration, getting that final hit off. Daisy the drone, the hero in this story. Now a Marine coming out to get some damage onto the one Daisy the drone now. So that drone will be able to run back home. Meanwhile, this hero drone, now already back up to 8 hit points, will be able to get up to full hit points very, very easily. You can see 9 drones now on the move, and now perhaps going to start mining off of this location. There is going to be a spine crawler or 2 placed down here, but this is very difficult for a Zerg player to try to defend. You have the fact that you have no real way of getting really getting any natural defense here, or to try to pull away. And now drones coming in. There are 2 Marines already, and that's very, very nice positioning here. Those Marines, oh, on the far side, they should have stayed tucked away in that corner as those Marines are continuing to push around. And you can see the double SCVs trying to place down those bunkers. There are a lot of drones now coming in. Will the Marines be able to make it inside the bunker in time? It does not look like it, but there are some fresh Marines. Will he be able to jump inside? No, unable to jump inside, but that Marine is able to. And now this Marine needs to jump inside as well, and now double bunkers in order to be able to stop and get some damage there. And now 2 SCVs just sitting here as well. You can see that more Marines are trying to be transferred over. 1 Marine trying to run away for his life, as a supply depot needs to be built here. Otherwise, that is not going to work out very well. Those Zerglings are simply going to be able to run by, and now he's going to let the Marine try to run by first, and now the Zerglings are going to be coming in. There you go. There it goes, and now finishing that wall out, but the Zerglings now going to get some damage onto that SCV. No, unable to finish it off, and now multiple Marines here. You can still see that there are 2 SCVs trying to make their way out, and now going to take some damage from those Zerglings. Now need to run all the way back home, and there are going to be a couple Marines. Perhaps he can start to stair step and start jumping with those bunkers, place another bunker down, and then just salvage them and slowly push them forward. You can see a command center now being built here, an army of Marines now on the move. There is a decent number of Zerglings as well. That SCV in the front also going to be absorbing a lot of the damage, and now those Zerglings are trying to run away. The metabolic boost has not yet been researched, so those Zerglings are not going to be able to run away nearly that easily. And in comes another swarm. SCV now on auto repair, trying to repair between these 2 locations. This one bunker needs to just rally into this location, and now the SCV continuing to just try to fight back. Multiple SCVs are getting taken down. Both bunkers are going to be lost, as a fresh group of Marines are now out, but the SCV is gone. So without an SCV to now build that bunker, that's going to be a little bit of an issue, as this bunker offers absolutely no protection whatsoever, as it is not completed. Using that stutter step trying to maximize the kills as quickly as possible. A lot of micro here on Scrap Station. You can see the actions per minute upping into 300 as those Marines were trying to stutter step their way in order to maximize their damage. RB wise, 375 versus 100, but you can also see that CargoPros, does he have a stronger economy? No, he does not. So CargoPros, off of all of that early aggression, has real no advantage so far. So Argos Zenix doing a good job trying to keep it even. You can see that double hatchery with 2 queens at each of those locations are going to be able to easily spawn a lot of larvae. And now with that metabolic boost underway, it is going to be a little bit of time before those Zerglings are going to once again get map control. Marines are once again on the move. 5 Marines moving out, testing the waters, and now deciding to return home. Argos at this time may just decide to fast expand all across the map now, or continue to power drone. You can see extractors are being built with 3 additional extractors. I believe that Argos is going to try to power drone the rest of the game, or at least not the rest of the game, for the next 3 to 5 minutes, and then just try to win purely off of macro. He does have an early warning system against those Marines that are trying to come out, and now he is teching the tier 2. Things are not looking good. This swarm of Marines may be able to get some damage. There are some Zerglings here, and more Zerglings are still being queued up over here as well. Another spawn larva. No, that queen is not going to engage, and now the Marines just sitting outside the front door. A lot of Zerglings now being trained, and now Supply Depot over here just watching these destructible rocks. Not much really happening. Overlord taking a look into the base, sees double factories, and now also getting an armory. So armory off of the double factories. I do not see an engineering bay yet, so without an engineering bay, I'm wondering what that armory is for. He could be trying to go for, he could be trying to go for Hellion upgrades on the mech, but I'm not 100% sure about that, as the Baneling's Nest now coming into play. And now, before anything like that happens, I'm gonna go ahead and quit my Skype so you guys do not think that someone's trying to contact you on Skype. So Zerglings now hiding off in this location here, a very, very large number of Zerglings, in fact, as now the Marines and Hellions making their way in. There is 1 queen in position, but that queen going to take a lot of damage as the Zerglings now trying to swarm in and perhaps going to get some damage, cleaning up some of those Marines there. The Hellions now trying to run away from those Zerglings, and now going to get surrounded because they are on creep. No blue flame research just quite yet. Zerglings going to pick apart the last couple of those Hellions, and that has been easily taken care of. 925 in just pure Zerglings against 0 army right now. Production-wise, those siege tanks, level 1 weapons upgrade for mech, also the blue flame research with the orange flame as the indicator. I think someone said the blue flame research should really be blue flame. I don't know if Blizzard really cares that the blue flame research is actually red. Now, we have Zerglings on the move once again, and perhaps going to try to test this front door. Banelings could be tried to use in order to melt off this front door, and there are no additional barracks being built nearby. So if the Zerglings actually... Oh! Lowering the supply depot at just the wrong time, and Argos could have tried to squeeze his way through. If the Zerglings were actually on top of the supply depot would not have been able to raise. Zerglings would have been able to swarm in, and that may have been game, as the number of Zerglings here would have been able to easily take down these barracks. They would have lifted off, and then the Hellions, with now the blue flame research, may have been able to hold it off. The Hellions now moving out, getting that blue flame, and oh, torching so many of those Zerglings. Yeah, getting a lot of damage across multiple Zerglings, and those Hellions now chasing once again all of those Zerglings. So and Hellions trying to chase. It looks like they will be able to deal some damage as they move out, but now in come some queens. Those queens do have a decent range, and they also I think at one point, yeah, they always had the missile attack upgrade, even though it is a claw, so, or talons. So somehow talons are part of the Zerg missile attack. Anyways, Hellions once again on the move. Perhaps they will be able to get some damage. There is a Spire. Zergling's not trying to get a decent surround, and it looks like they will be able to, but the Hellions doing a good job moving back and forth, and now that there are Mutalisks in the air, the Mutalisks are going to be able to finish off the rest of those Hellions. The Mutalisks perhaps should just cut across this opening here and get in front of those Hellions. The Hellions now trying to back away, being very, very smart, doesn't want to get in front, and now the Hellions once again pushing back in, as that's the only real direction that they can go in. And now the Hellion's gonna just raise hell once again. Zergling's now trying to hide in the brush, and now gonna be able to get some damage onto some of those Hellions. Down they go. Last Hellion getting stuck as well. Argos currently getting a hatchery at the gold mineral patch. He also has an overlord at the island expansion, so he is keeping track. He knows that his opponent is currently sitting at 2 bases, and that is it. He is getting his 3rd base with this over here, and if he gets a queen and starts to saturate it with drones, he will have a large economic advantage, as Mutalisk not even bothering to magic box, and now the Thor trying to run away as a 2nd Thor now coming in. So down goes 1 Thor, but now being stuck between 2 Thors. 1 Thor over here. Marines coming in to join in on that fight as well. And now going after some of those and more Thors. Another Thor now out of position. It looks like a Viking now joining in on the fight as well. And that Thor with its very, very heavy Terran plating armor and javelin missile launchers should be able to shoot it down without any real issue. So there you go. Losing uncharacteristically, Argos Zenix losing a lot of his Mutalisk to Thors. Thors are upgraded 1-0, 2-0 upgrades now underway as we are now double training Thors, so it is going to be a very, very heavy mech play. But 2 Thors both getting contaminated. So an Overseer shutting down the production on 2 Thors. So, or a Thor and a siege tank, and another Thor down over here. So we see mass factories, or a triple factories coming in from CargoPros, also getting a Hellion upgrade off of the reactor. So double training Hellions and getting the level 2 weapons attack. Those Hellions going to be able to do what, 36 damage in attack. And now the Vikings are on the hunt for some additional Mutalisks and Overlords in the air. It doesn't look like they will be able to find anything. And now Argos opting to go for mass roaches. Roaches, and perhaps the counter to Thors, because roaches do move very, very quickly, able to surround, and I believe need to take 2 shots or almost 3 shots from a Thor, unless there is proper armor upgrades. We'll see what's happening in just a moment as these Thors are now going to be moving out, and the Thors need to go into 3-0 upgrades in order to, I think, 2-shot roaches, and normally 3-0 upgrades are not researched that often. Siege tanks now being built, command center now being built over here. It will be lifted off and landed here in just a moment, as the roaches now just continue to wander around. Glial reconstitution, ventral sacs, and pneumatized carapaces, and now Zerg missile upgrades. So a lot of different upgrades coming out as the Hellions, Marines, siege tanks, and Thors are on the move. 2-0 upgrades, so those Thors are going to be able to easily shoot down a lot of those Mutalisks. But the power of Zerg being able to transition a crazy number of roaches instead, now training up 24 roaches, 25 roaches, 50 food army of roaches coming in and composing it of about 1/3 of Argos Zenix's total population count. Hellions now just moving around. This one roach going to be caught out of position. It looks like he will be able to escape though, as the Vikings and siege tanks now continue to move. But really, CargoPros does not know about this expansion over here, as the roaches are getting some damage onto that command center. That command center may get sniped down by roaches before the planetary fortress completes. Now we have Hellions coming in. Scanner sweep now revealing a whole bunch of creep tumors there. Overlords now also getting sacrificed as well, so not sure what CargoPros is really trying to, or not sure what Argos Zenix is trying to do, as he's losing mass units. Zerg units also being rallied into the wrong location. Siege tanks blasting away at the infestation, but we already are at tier 3 though. And now Argos Zenix is in trouble. We have a lot of roaches now in the air, as they are going to be dropped down in just a moment by those overlords. And now a roach drop. Roaches infesting this location here. Mass roaches now moving out. So many Hellions. Not very, very powerful. The roaches should be able to try to get closer and closer, as they only have a range of 4, continuing to push in. And now CargoPros losing many of his Thors in this battle. You can see the Thors are getting taken down one at a time. Back over here, the SCV, a mule called down just in time in order to save it. It looked like it got lifted off for just a moment, so the roaches were not unable to do anything else. And now only an 800 mineral army. Vikings now trying to get some damage onto the a queen now trying to get some damage onto that Viking. The queen getting some quick hits there. Now will be laying down a creep tumor and trying to reestablish this creep highway. There are some creep tumors in the middle of the map. The creep highway not completely connected, as Argos Zenix now training up a lot more units once again, and now going into the Greater Spire. So Greater Spire, Broodlords may be coming. We'll see. I do not see any Corruptors currently, as those Corruptors are not really used against Terran all that often. Siege tanks are just battling it out and protecting this location here. Perhaps a mule should go mine and then let the SCVs do the repairing on this command center here, as those Vikings are now in retreat and now trying to get regrouped. CargoPros should also try to move these barracks in order to make up a larger walking distance or a larger walkway, as those stores are going to get choked up back there in just a moment. Hellions now trying to come in. It looks like the Hellions are going to take some damage and by those spine crawlers, queens, and roaches. But now CargoPros knows that he is no longer in the advantage point that he currently thought he was. Argos Zenix has this expansion location on the bottom left-hand side, the gold mineral patches, giving him a better economic and gas income. All Cargo really has right now is the fact that he has a lot of mules in play, and now roaches being dropped straight into the base. The Vikings now going after overlords and going to lose a couple full overlords. A horrible loss there, as those overlords are just not in the right position. Multiple roaches now being dropped in once again. Siege tanks, however, a very strong counter against those roaches, and now just going after SCVs. So SCVs are getting destroyed left and right. No glial reconstitution yet. No, yeah, do they have it? Yeah, they do have the glial reconstitution, but no tunneling claws. As those roaches just trying to run away, it looks as though those Hellions are just trying to initiate some more splash damage. Auto turret may even get some kills on some of those roaches, as the roaches now coming into the natural expansion location, and now perhaps going to start sniping down some of those SCVs. One SCV is now getting taken down one at a time. It looks like multiple SCVs. The siege tanks not even bothering to attack, and finally coming over in order to offer some additional help. There are now broodlords hatching in the center of the map. So 4 broodlords, 9 corruptors now being trained. A lot more gas needs to be added, as those corruptors are going to try to battle it out. But those broodlord cocoons need to pull away. And now there was somewhat of an escort, and Argos Zenix needs to cancel those broodlords. No, going to lose them, and that is a horrible loss, losing such an expensive unit. But mass corruptors now coming into the center of the map. It looks like those Vikings are now gonna now get taken down, as those Thors are not able to deal that much damage. The natural armor of 2 on those corruptors preventing much of that damage attack, and now perhaps try to snipe down that one point defense drone. 1 overlord cocoon, oh sorry, 4 broodlords now in the air, offering some protection, and now those broodlords need to deal damage. There are some Vikings coming in, but the corruptors quickly coming in as well. The corruptors do move significantly faster than those Vikings, even though they have less range. And now you can see how much damage is being dealt. The broodlords want to try to use their range attack and try to start launching broodlings. Marines are also coming in as well, so the broodlords now also have upgrades, and now the corruptors also have upgrades as well. So those corruptors are taking a minimized damage, a lot of minimized damage, as those corruptors now continuing to give chase, now taking damage from those Marines. The Marines are upgraded 1-0. Both sides continue to battle out. Corruptors do have 3 armor right now, reducing the damage from 7 down to 5. As those Vikings now continue to try to push, are the corruptors going to be able to get some damage? The Vikings getting a nice shoot and scoot, massing up those Vikings in the center of the map. More corruptors trying to come in. It doesn't look like any contamination or corruption is being cast on any of those Vikings to try to increase the amount of damage. Army-wise, you can see more roaches now being trained in, and it looks like another drop will be coming in. A lot of those roaches are low on hit points, as the siege tanks and Vikings now moving into this location here. But Argos Zenix doesn't really care about this expansion much longer. He only really needs the gas now, as the minerals are almost gone, and now the overlords are moving in for a drop. There are some Vikings in the air. The Vikings going after some unknown overlords, or the overlords that don't have anything just quite yet, and now in come the corruptors, and now roaches are going to be dropping right in onto this location here, cleaning up the Thors and the siege tanks. So beautifully done. CargoPros losing the mass drops here on Scrap Station so far, and now Argos Zenix continuing to just rack up that damage. There are currently no Hydralisks in order to deal with these Vikings. I believe all the broodlords, there are still 2 broodlords left in the air, as those roaches are now moving out to finish against the rest of those siege tanks. Siege tanks are trying to roll away, but they are unable to get very, very far, as those roaches are continuing to rack up that damage. There is a planetary fortress here though, so those roaches are not going to be able to stick around for very, very long. That splash damage, very effective against those tightly packed roaches. And roaches once again backing off. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for part 2 of this replay. This is a rather long replay, and my voice needs to recover for just a moment. I am fighting off my daughter's sinus infection, so yeah, need to get some water. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed part 1 of this replay between CargoPros and Argos Zenix here on Scrap Station. Stay tuned for part 2.